Cameras caught a wild moment between Lakers coach Redick and Luka Doncic during a game against the Warriors. Luka got subbed out, looked frustrated, pulled his arm away mid-conversation. Then came the awkward missed high five. But what happened next? Let's get into it. February 28, 2026, Chase Center, San Francisco. The Lakers were destroying the Warriors, 129-101, a full-on blowout. You'd expect smiles, high fives, good vibes on that bench, right? Wrong. Luka had been cooking all night. 26 points, 8 assists, 6 rebounds. Everything was going the Lakers' way. Zero reason for any drama, or so you'd think. Late fourth quarter, game already over. Redick pulls Luka out. Normal sub, nothing crazy. But what happened next? Anything but normal. Redick grabbed Luka's arm, trying to talk defense, and Luka, he was not having it. Brushed right past his coach. Didn't stop, didn't look back, just kept walking. That alone is a headline. A superstar dissing his head coach on national TV? That's big. But it didn't stop there. Redick followed Luka to the bench. Words were exchanged, hands were flying. This was not a calm conversation. This was real tension. Redick said something, Luka fired back, then Redick turned and walked away. And that's when it happened. Luka Doncic, 6'7", 230 pounds, rose up from that bench like a man who just got disrespected in front of the entire world.
Beat your. That's what Luka said to JJ. Luka was seemingly so angry.
Think about that. Those aren't words you hear between teammates. They're definitely not words you hear a player say to his own head coach. But according to multiple reports, that is exactly what Luka Doncic said.
Got up off of the bench and was going to walk down and confront JJ.
He wasn't just venting, wasn't muttering under his breath. No, Luka stood up, full intention, walking straight down that bench to get in JJ Redick's face, on live television, in the middle of a game.
And so now JJ Redick said what he had to say and tried to walk away, and Luka was like, nah, bro, you ain't about to turn your back on me.
And that tells you everything about where Luka's head was at. Redick said his piece and tried to walk away, but Luka basically said, you are not about to talk to me like that, and just walk off. That is not a man who is a little annoyed. That is a man who feels deeply, personally disrespected.
Luka said, man, I'll beat your, and stood up to go and do it.
And the only reason this didn't get way worse, one man, Jared Vanderbilt.
And Vando said, come on, man, cool out. Cool out, bro. It ain't about nothing.
Vanderbilt jumped up, clapped loud, and put his body right between Luka and Redick. Situation handled before it got worse. Fans and analysts called it a veteran move, the kind you only see from a guy who truly understands the moment. Because if Vanderbilt doesn't get up off that bench, if he doesn't put his body between those two men, who knows what happens next?
Player doesn't stand up off of the bench and threaten their coach. They probably are bros and friends.
And that's the point everyone is missing. This wasn't just competitiveness. This wasn't just adrenaline. A player threatening his coach during a game they were winning by 30 points? That doesn't happen because of one bad play. Something has been building, something bubbling underneath the surface. And to understand what that something is, you have to go all the way back to the beginning. Rewind the clock, because Luka Doncic never asked for any of this, never wanted to leave Dallas, never pushed for a trade. He had zero control over what happened to him, and it broke his heart. February 2nd, 2025. The Dallas Mavericks traded the reigning NBA scoring champion to the Los Angeles Lakers in a 3-team deal involving the Utah Jazz. Dallas got Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a 2029 first-round pick. The league went into shock. Journalists called it the most shocking trade in NBA history. Executives were in disbelief. Patrick Mahomes tweeted, "Wait, what?" And Luka? He was reportedly in tears. His father called the decision undeserved. Luka himself said, "They made a decision. I don't know why." The man gave everything to Dallas. 5 straight All-NBA first-team selections, a finals run, triple-double records, shipped out without warning. Mavericks GM Nico Harrison pulled the trigger, citing concerns over Luka's conditioning, weight reportedly reaching 270 pounds, and issues with personal medical staff. Harrison also avoided committing to Luka's 5-year, $345 million Supermax extension. Cold, calculated, and Luka paid the price. But even through all that pain, all that heartbreak, Luka showed up in Los Angeles with a smile on his face and a fire in his chest.
The moment I step on court, I told to myself, this is what I do, this is what I enjoy most doing, so I'm just excited to be here to start this new journey.
Those aren't the words of a man who gave up. Those are the words of a man who turned his pain into purpose.
This for me is a fresh start. I get to play in LA, I get to play in the greatest club in the world.
And early on, there was every reason to believe Luka and Redick were going to be something special, because these two had real history, good history. Back in the 2020-21 season, Redick was traded to the Mavericks late in his playing career. He and Luka played together in 13 games, and even though Redick's body was breaking down, the bond was instant. Redick called Luka special on and off the court, comparing his humility to Stephen Curry. And Luka, a man who almost never does media, appeared on Redick's podcast, The Old Man and the Three, not once, but twice. Luka himself said, "You don't see me going on podcasts. I went on his podcast twice, so you know how much respect I have for him." So when Redick got the Lakers coaching job in 2024 and Luka got traded to LA shortly after, it felt like the basketball gods wrote the perfect script. Two men with trust, two men with chemistry, two men who already understood each other. You could feel it in training camp. The energy was electric.
I don't like you. Are you done with the shenanigans?
That right there is two guys who are genuinely comfortable with each other. Playful trash talk that only happens when there is real friendship underneath. Redick was loose, Luka was loose, and the whole team fed off that energy.
All right, here we go, here we go. Terrific day yesterday. We definitely got 1% better.
Stack days, get 1% better every single day. And for a while, it worked. Luka was balling, the team was winning, everything was moving in the right direction. But then the cracks started to show. See, Redick is not the kind of coach who lets things slide. He is direct, he is blunt, he holds everyone accountable, even his biggest stars. Redick publicly called out Luka's defense, saying if he doesn't lower his butt and defend, he won't close games. That is not something a 5-time All-NBA superstar wants to hear said about him publicly. And it wasn't just the defense. Luka's constant referee arguments were becoming a problem. His conditioning was questioned. His commitment was questioned. And for a man who never wanted to leave Dallas, who showed up in LA with nothing but determination, those critiques hit different. Redick reportedly called Luka out of shape in team settings, not in championship shape. That fueled a serious debate inside the organization. Was this accountability or was this alienation? The Lakers were 36-24, sitting 6th in the West, solid but not silencing any doubts. The championship energy just wasn't there. So when that moment happened against the Warriors, it wasn't about one play, it wasn't about one substitution, it was about everything. Every critique, every public call-out, every moment Luka felt like the man who was supposed to have his back was putting him on blast instead.
I mean, the Lakers could win it, but they have to get that situation straight.
And that is the question everyone is asking right now. Can they fix this? Can these two men coexist? Or has it already gone too far? The video spread like wildfire. Within hours, fan clips were all over X, Instagram, and YouTube, racking up millions of views. Everyone had an opinion. On one side, people saw this as a death sentence for the Redick and Luka partnership. Fans were merciless on social media. One user said, "JJ will be gone before Luka." Another wrote that the Lakers will be saying goodbye to JJ. And one fan put it painfully, saying Luka went from being a king to now a prince. That last one stings, because there is truth in it. In Dallas, Luka was the undisputed franchise player. Every play went through number 77. But in LA, he's sharing the spotlight with LeBron James, playing in a system built around ball movement and defense, not the heliocentric style that made him a superstar. And for a man with Luka's competitive fire, that adjustment has not been easy. But on the other side, people thought this was being blown out of proportion. Analyst Charlie Villanueva called it a bad look, but stopped short of saying the relationship was broken. He chalked it up to Luka's emotional nature, not deep-seated hatred. Then there was Rich Paul, CEO of Clutch Sports, one of the most powerful men in basketball. Paul called the arguments constructive, saying the passion and competitive nature shown is actually healthy. And here's where it gets really interesting, because despite all the drama, JJ Redick did something after that game that most people completely forgot about. He praised Luka, not in a fake cover his tracks kind of way, in a real, genuine kind of way. During his post-game press conference, when asked about Luka's performance, Redick did not hesitate.
Yeah, I mean, there's Coach K used to always use the word daring. You know, there's a daring to Luka's game.
Daring. That is not a word you use to describe someone you have given up on. That is not a word you use about a player you can no longer work with. That is a word you use about someone whose talent takes your breath away.
What makes, one of the many reasons that makes him such a special player.
Special, daring. These are the words JJ Redick chose to describe Luka on the same night Luka threatened to beat his behind on that bench. And that tells you everything about where Redick's head is at. This is not a coach who is checked out. This is not a man who has given up. This is a man pushing a generational talent to be even greater than he already is. And it wasn't just about the flashy plays. Redick went on to praise the things that don't show up in highlight reels. The basketball IQ, the passing vision, the ability to read a defense before it even sets.
Yeah, we have a lot of good guys on our team. We have love these guys. His teammates love him.
His teammates love him, and that matters. Because if the locker room had turned on Luka, if teammates started questioning his attitude or his commitment, then you would have a real problem. But that is not what is happening here.
He's a terrific teammate. It's easy to root for his success.
A terrific teammate, easy to root for. Those words from Redick on that specific night carry enormous weight. They tell you that despite the fireworks, despite the threat, despite the viral moment everyone was dissecting frame by frame, the foundation between these two men has not crumbled. Not yet. And history actually supports the idea that this kind of tension can lead to greatness. Steve Kerr and Draymond Green, Phil Jackson and Kobe Bryant, fierce clashes that ultimately forged championship-caliber teams. The NBA is full of coaches and superstars who screamed at each other, pushed each other to the brink, and then went on to win it all together. But that only works if both sides are willing to meet in the middle, and that is the part nobody can predict. Luka signed a 3-year, $165 million extension in August 2025. He is not going anywhere, and Redick has shown nothing but commitment to making this work. But the Lakers are 36-24, sitting 6th in the West. The playoffs are right around the corner. They have dealt with injuries, ball dominance questions between Luka and LeBron, and a defensive rating that dropped to 25th in the league after losing Anthony Davis. The margin for error is razor thin, and in that kind of environment, unresolved tension between a coach and his best player can be the difference between a deep playoff run and an early exit.
Luka needs to understand his place as a player on his team, and he needs to do what the coach is asking him to do.
That is the uncomfortable truth. No matter how talented you are, no matter how many points you score, there has to be trust and respect between you and the man drawing up the plays. And right now, the entire basketball world is watching. Can Luka Doncic and JJ Redick find that trust again? Or is this thing headed for a collision that neither one of them can walk away from? One thing is for sure. The next time these two are on that sideline together, every single camera in that building is going to be pointed right at them. Because when it comes to the Los Angeles Lakers, the drama never stops. And this story is far from over.